Hello there, welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers being reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and I'm about to review a beer that I've never had before. I've never had anything from the brewery before. This is from the Capital Brewery out of Middleton, Wisconsin, and this is their Blonde Doppelbock. I love Doppelbocks. I do think it's funny. It says Blonde Doppelbock, and it's hard to tell because it's a brown bottle, but it looks really light in color. Bocks are usually, especially Doppelbocks, are usually really dark. So I'm interested to get this poured and see what the appearance is like. Beer Advocate gives this an 87, which is very good, and that's with 251 ratings. Rate Beer gives it an 89 overall, with an 87 for the style, and the bros have not had this beer. It has an ABV of 7.8%, so it's a moderately big beer. The style is obviously a Doppelbock, and the availability is spring. It's November now, but it does have a 7.8% ABV, and it's a malty beer. It's not hoppy, so it's cellarable. So I'm not worried at all about it. I'm not sure what the IBUs on it are, but again, it's a malty beer, so I don't imagine it having like super hot bitterness or anything. But anyway, here's a quick description from Rate Beer. It says a deep golden color leads to an extremely flavorful yet very drinkable beer of great character. Treat this malt monster with respect. Available in March and April. So I love Malt Monster. I love that. Doesn't really say anything on the bottle, so yeah, just going ahead and get this cracked. It's funny, Capital Brewery, and it's got Capitol building on the front. You would think it's out of DC, but they're out of Middleton, Wisconsin. So been drinking a lot of beers lately from Wisconsin. Let's see. Yeah, that is really light for a really light for a Bock, or especially a Doppelbock. Alright. Let's get an appearance on this. It is a nice light amber color. Like a really deep gold, light amber. It's a little hazy, just a little bit. It's pretty clear, but slightest bit of haze. Nice one finger head, looks really creamy, slightly off white. Seeing a good bit of carbonation coming up in this, which it is a lager. It's a box, so it is a lager. But yeah, it definitely looks good. So let's go ahead and get a nose on this. Oh wow, Malt Monster it certainly is. Yeah, this definitely smells so much lighter than any Doppelbock I've ever had. The malts are slightly bready, but I'm getting a lot. It's very nutty. I'm getting a lot of caramel, toffee malts, maybe like slight roastiness. It's kind of sweet. Definitely a nuttiness there. It smells like pecans or almond, or walnuts, pecans or walnuts or something. It definitely smells like a good beer. No, not really any hop character to speak of, and for it not, for being so much lighter than the average Doppelbock and being pretty big at 7.8%, I'm not smelling any alcohol at all. So yeah, just going ahead and jump into this one. Oh wow, that is malty. That's almost too malty for me. Oh man, it's good. That is good, but that is so malty. I mean, I can taste the yeast. I can taste like a yeastiness right up front. Kind of biscuity. Then kind of the sweetness hits middle of the palate, which pairs nice with the darker roastier malts. Definitely caramel there. toffee, a little roasty. It is a little roasty. Picking up on, I'm smelling a lot of nuttiness. Maybe a little bit of like maybe a little bit of a fruitiness too in the aroma. Like maybe a light, like an apricot or a white grape or something, like really light. But smelling a lot of nuttiness in the aroma, and I'm tasting it a little bit, but it's like it's like the aftertaste, very back of the palate, like after you swallow, that aftertaste that leaves in your mouth tastes kind of nutty. But I mean, it is good. This is a little too malty for me. If you really love malty beers, you'll love this. For me, it's a little unbalanced. It's a little overly malty at the front. I think if the malts were a little darker, a little roastier, maybe a little bit of coffee or something in the malts, then it would be more balanced. But there's not really any coffee, any coffee presence at all as far as the malts go. Just kind of a slightly sweet caramel and toffee. But I mean, it's definitely a good beer. I mean, I do like it, but I'm not crazy about it. Really super malty beers like this. I mean, I love super hoppy beers, but other end of the spectrum, when they're super malty, it's not really my cup of tea or glass of beer, as you would say. But I mean, it leaves kind of this. I mean, it just coats the tongue, that malty flavor, and it just like it leaves like kind of just the flavor, and you get that kind of nuttiness, and then the flavor, it just leaves kind of this. It's like a sweet bitterness or something. It's hard to describe almost, but it just leaves this flavor in your mouth that. So I mean, if you love malty beers, you will love this beer, because this thing is like all malt all the way. But for me, it's not amazing. It's I'd say it's better than average by far, but it's just not. It's it's not. I don't really fancy it that much. But it is good. I think I'm gonna give this beer an 8 out of 10, because it is really good. It's different. I've never had a Doppelbock that's this light in color and in flavor. They're usually darker, roastier, you know, a little sweeter. You get some brown sugar. You get, you know, those, the coffee and the chocolate malts, brown sugar. You get, those types of flavors, where none of that's here. This is like lighter. There's almost a little bit of a fruitiness in the aroma. Can taste it a little bit. And the aftertaste kind of, you get that nuttiness, and then it kind of, it kind of lingers in your mouth. I mean, just the mouth feel. It's just really thick on the tongue, and there's like a kind of a fruity character to it, like white grape or something. Super light, but it's definitely there. But this is really malty though up front. Bready, really bready. I'd have to say that the breadiness up front, kind of that bready yeastiness, kind of overshadows the darker malt that is there, the caramel and the toffee. And if either that breadiness wasn't quite as prevalent, or if the roastier malts in the middle, if they were just a little stronger, then I think it would definitely be more balanced. And I might give it a higher score. But 8 out of 10, that's a B. That's still pretty good. I do like this beer. It's just it's not super amazing or anything. But I have to say though, if you like malty beers, you definitely got to give this a try. This is Blonde Doppelbock from the Capitol Brewery out of Middleton, Wisconsin. If you see it, pick it up, try it. It's not terrible. I mean, it's pretty good. So thank you for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.